Hey guys, Jason here. So today I want to talk about LSDA knob and deadbolts grade 2 and PLS knob and deadbolts grade 2. So the main issue that I wanted to talk about today is the lack of availability in the oil rub bronze finish for LSDA, which is Locksmith Dealers of America, sold by one hardware company, supplier, and then Professional Lock Suppliers PS, which is sold by another lock supplier. We have traditionally sold LSDA products for the longest time and have more out there in the field, so to speak. And wanted to talk about the differences in the two and kind of discuss some issues. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the 10B finish, which is the oil rub bronze, or a dark bronze, some people call it. That's traditionally been around for a long time. One problem that we have, and you might notice that I have a 32D, which is a brushed chrome deadbolt here, and not a dark bronze, but I've got a dark bronze knob. Well, LSDA offers grade 2 knobs in dark bronze 10B finish, but they apparently do not offer deadbolts. It would be nice to be able to pair a grade 2 deadbolt and a grade 2 doorknob in a 10B finish, just like we do with the 32D finish. So I'm going to show you some of the differences and how they're packed between the two. Again, these are both 10B. This is 10B. This is satin chrome or brushed chrome finish. And I do have latches already in some of these. So the deadbolt comes with an adjustable latch. And the knobs on the LSDA come less latch, and you request the latch. In this one, I already have a 2 3/8 latch. I haven't opened it yet, but that's apparently what I put in there when I brought these in. And the reason I also don't have a double cylinder in the grade 2 is because traditionally, since they are commercial deadbolts and you can't have double cylinder deadbolts in a commercial property because of fire code, we don't really stock them a whole lot. So I'm just going to show you the single cylinder. I do have a display with the double cylinder here. So let's get on that. We will start off with the LSDA, Locksmith Dealers of America. And we'll see, again, I've dropped in a latch here, 2 3/8, but we'll see how it's packaged. Cardboard box, the knob wrapped in plastic and all the parts wrapped in plastic on this side. Instructions in the bottom. Alright, so if we take it apart, we see it comes separately with this part protected, which is the inner rosette. And we'll also notice the finish. This one's been riding around in my truck for a while. But some people refer to, you can see it has been riding for a while because it's got some green forming right here. A lot of people refer to the oil rub bronze as a finish that is kind of a living finish, whereas as you use it and as you turn the knob, it will kind of age and change colors. So that is definitely one thing to consider if you're thinking about a standard oil rub bronze finish compared to the newer aged bronze finishes, which are much more longer lasting, that you find in like Schlage brand locks. But after you rub this a lot with your hand and wipe it off with a cloth, it cleans up real well, and the oil in your skin actually will affect this 10B finish because it is a uncoated style finish. So we'll see that we have the latch. Again, I put a 2 3/8 latch in here, and we'll see that this is a cylindrical knob. So when you push this in, it locks. When you turn the knob to get out, it unlocks both sides. Obviously the inside's always going to be free to get out. And if you push it in and you turn it, it stays locked. Now this is kind of a problematic thing for these locks because it does cause lockouts. Whereas if you go outside and turn the knob to go outside, it stays locked on the outside. That puts it in, say, a storeroom style lock position where you have to turn the key to get in, and it stays locked. So that is kind of both a feature and possibly a problem with the grade 2 hardware. Knobs specifically. One thing that I'm really ticky about is how the latch retracts, and you'll notice here that it is not retracting all the way. which it almost is, which is one of my pet peeves. Sometimes you've got enough gap so it doesn't matter, but it's still a pet peeve of mine that the latch does not retract all the way. So, that being said, another thing about these knobs, both of them, is they do have a larger rosette, which is a larger plate, which can be good and bad. It's a little bit more gaudy, some people would say, and it also, compared to standard residential locks, which I will show you that in a second, but didn't mean to do that. So here's a complete grade 2 minus the core cost, of course. So here's a Schlage just to compare, and you'll see how much bigger it is, and you'll see how much bigger the rosette is. I think these rosettes are around like 2 1/8 or 2 1/4, which is a little bit above the standard hole size of 2 1/8, maybe 2 1/2, and then these are like 3 1/2 or 3 3, not 3 3/4. I'm not sure the exact measurements, but anyway, you can see it's obviously a bit bigger, and it also sits out a lot more than a regular residential lock. So, we're going to go ahead and put that back, and we'll take out, I'm going to do that, take out the doorknob of the PLS, and we'll immediately notice, again, these come with the latch already in them. You order them, I guess they have to stock 4 different ones. 2 3/4 latch, 10B, chrome. Okay, we'll see this one has a lot more things in there. And also, I did not take out the strike plate on this one, but this LSDA just comes with your standard ANSI strike plate, the bigger plate. The PLS is, immediately we can tell, a darker finish, and it also comes all together already, and the reason why is they have it in a styrofoam bed. Now, while that does protect the finish or the lock itself a lot better, I personally don't like that from a recycle standpoint. I don't like the fact that this is going to be going in the garbage a lot of the time. So that's just another pet peeve of mine. Okay, so we'll see that it comes with a dust cup, comes with a lot more features. Comes with a smaller strike, comes with a plastic dust cup for the smaller strike. It comes with a different type of ANSI strike. Considerably different, has a lip. And a different cutout. Another thing, I'll hold the cutout up to each other. They're about the same height up and down, which is pretty important for areas with shifting foundations. But again, this has a lip, this one doesn't. We will see this one that came with the 2 3/8 latch. We'll see an immediate issue that a lot of us have with locks is the 2-part faceplate. I know once you put this in the door, it screws down, and you can pin these edges around to hold it together, but I'm pretty disgruntled by that. I don't like the 2-piece faceplates at all. I like them from the factory already formed together. Another thing, this one comes with a cylinder as well. Comes with a 6-pin Schlage cylinder standard with the brass faceplate. The LSDA, you have to order your own cylinder. Of course, you can switch the cylinder out in here as well, but this is a less cylinder. I'm sure they sell a version, a part number that has the cylinder already installed. But so what we'll do, this is the adjustment feature on grade 2. For those of you who are putting this in to do it yourself, this screw it all the way down, and it works for a thinner door. You back it off for the standard door. You'll see the interior right here. These are designed to fit into little notches that are cut at 3 o'clock in the 9 o'clock position on a standard door prep for a metal door. But if you were using this in a wood door and it only had the 2 1/8 inch drilled hole, this cylindrical style lock, both of them are cylindrical, fits through that, and then these bite into the wood, which provides a little bit more stability. So we will take a look at this. Again, a 2-piece faceplate with a snap-on spring type inner plate, and the doorknob goes on somewhere like this. All right, so again, this is the same way as the LSDA. If you push it in and you turn it, or you leave, it unlocks and lets you open. If you push in and turn, and when you open the door, it stays locked, and you have to use your key to retract the latch. So if we hold these both up next to each other, we'll again notice a couple of things. The LSDA one is definitely a lot sleeker, which is another reason I like it. Oh, I'm sitting here trying to spin this around and get it over the spring. But you'll notice the obvious difference in the rosettes. This one angles out, this one's more flat. You'll notice that the LSDA appears to be a bit bigger, sticks out a bit further. That may just be how it's on here. No, it's definitely a bigger lock. They're about the same size, diameter. And again, this is a brown, this is almost a black. So obvious finish difference right there. Obvious difference in the rosettes. More squared off, it stands off the door more. If it was mounted on a door, it gives the appearance of standing off much more. So while this does come with extra things like the smaller strike plate and the dust cup, in my opinion, and a darker finish, which appears to be a little bit more durable, maybe not quite as a living quote finish as the LSDA or a bronze. And the lipped plate, which is a bonus. I don't like the boxy features of that compared to the rosettes here. And I don't like the 2-piece fixed latch. And I don't like the styrofoam packaging. So on that note, I will normally stick with the LSDA brand for doorknobs, mainly because they look sleeker. So let's talk about, oh, and I would like to point out one thing. If you take a LSDA latch, probably different type of retainer poker, but I will point this out for those of you who stock or may think about stocking both. We didn't do this with the PLS, so let's see how far this latch retracts. Again, it's kind of hard to tell since it's a 2-piece fixed latch. Oh. Okay, so it retracts all the way. That I'm impressed with. Flush. No need to worry about a tight door. It retracts completely, assuming when this is pinned together it does, which it looks like it does. But on that note, no, you cannot take a LSDA latch and use it in a PLS lock, because it will definitely not retract the latch all the way. And you can see why, because there is a little bit of a gap right there. And the two parts are formed differently. And it's a little tight right there. I mean, you could get by with it for a day or so if you had to, but it's not advisable to try to switch the two latches. Likewise, you cannot use a PLS latch with the LSDA deadbolt because it pulls it too far in and will cause damage. It's always best not to mix latches of different manufacturers, but if you have to for a day or so to get a replacement in. Say you got on the job and there was a 2 3/4 inch door instead of a 2 3/8, and you didn't happen to have that latch with you. I do keep a box of latches of LSDA, since we sell that mostly, to switch out back and forth, since they all come less latch. So back to the deadbolt, or now to the deadbolts. We've got the LSDA double cylinder, dark bronze, and the, unfortunately, the brushed chrome in the single cylinder. And that is, again, because LSDA apparently does not offer a oil rubbed bronze deadbolt in dark bronze color. They'll offer the grade 2 knob, but not the deadbolt. So we see here it comes with the directions, and that's it in there. No styrofoam. It comes with your 3-inch screws and all your other screws. If you wish to use the 4-screw plate, which is a thicker metal, or a standard metal plate. Always best to go with some type of security plate on your door for the deadbolt. Alright, and we see, of course, it's an adjustable latch. You have to throw it out, and you twist and turn, and it extends it to 2 3/4. Of course, the cut-proof center core and all that, I believe, are all going to be standard on locks. We'll see that it has a shield, and this is the one major difference in the two. And what that does is you almost want to think that it's a through bolt option, which it is a through bolt option. So you fasten that on the door, and actually you have to put this in first on the door, and then you tighten it down with one set of screws, which are the shorter, thicker screws, and that holds this and this in. And then the cylinder itself goes through that hole and then screws on here with the longer and finished headed screws, and that holds that in. So this, when on the door, completely encloses the latch, which prevents ice pick attacks, and also fits securely in a 2 1/8 inch hole. So you do have to have a larger hole for this. You do have to have the standard 2 1/8 inch hole. If you have a smaller hole, you would have to re-drill your hole to accommodate this deadbolt compared to the PLS. But ideally, that is your hole that you would have on the door. So we see once all together, again, you may be thinking this is through bolted, but in reality, the cylinder is only held in with those 2 screws. So there are, unfortunately, attacks out there that can get past that. Of course, they're destructive attacks, but, and again, it comes with a Schlage C cylinder, the most standard, and I can't remember, I think it's 5-pin or 6-pin. I don't remember offhand because there's no keys in here, because this is a matched key set. So there's your LSDA deadbolt. Again, I can't show it in bronze because they don't offer it in oil rub bronze. So we're going to take all the parts out of the PLS deadbolt. And it is a 6-pin Schlage keyway, a C4. Directions, cardboard, no styrofoam, that's good. Comes with 1 strike plate, not a security strike plate, with short screws. No security feature available here for their grade 2 deadbolt. No security strike. And only 2 screws. And again, we have the option to pop off this rectangular faceplate with a... Okay, so we have the option to put a drive-in bolt latch style or a rounded faceplate, which means this will pop off fairly easy. We have an adjustable bolt that does not have to be extended to adjust it. It is brass colored. Oh well, if there was a dark bronze option, we might see a brass bolt. So we're going to take this one off, and we're going to notice that there is no through bolting, no through shielding. If this is on a door, it will not have any protection against one type of attack besides the shielding of the lock itself. But you will see that there is no No through protection on this one, which means it would work on a smaller hole, the older 1 5/8" diameter holes. 6-pin key, and of course the anti-saw feature pin on the inside. So we'll see that there is a shape difference here as well. This is smooth angle all the way to the bottom, and this has a lip, presumably to somewhat match the lip here. So there you go. Of course, UL listed latches on both, and the finish here matches the finish over there. Curious if they did have the 10B version in the LSDA, if the finish would match. We'll see. One reason these are having to go back is out of the box. I took these I ordered 2 of them. We'll see there's a dent right there. It's maybe hard to tell on the camera, but you see it's dented there, and presumably that's just from sitting like this in the box. Dent. Something hits the bottom of the box and it dents the bottom of the lock. And if you circle around on one of these, there is also a ding right here. So fresh out of the box, this one was dented on both sides, and if you pop off this plate, I guess this is what they consider their security. Now it would be hard to ice pick through that, but it wouldn't be hard to beat this deadbolt off the door to expose the latch, which is one of my concerns with it. So overall, aside from the fact that they do offer it in a 10B finish, I am pretty much not impressed with their grade 2 deadbolts. While this does provide a metal, and there you see yet another reason why it's probably getting dinged up, is because once this sits in here, it's literally hollow. There's a thin gap all the way around. So this would just ding up real easy all the way around. Whereas this, I'm not sure how it's constructed because it's all one piece. It will not separate. You see it is smooth all the way to the front. Now again, I've never tried to prime one of these off to see if there is a gap, but it sounds like maybe there is a hollow space in between here, but again, being formed all the way across compared to this, in my opinion, this wins, this beats as far as security against a physical attack. So there you have it, the differences between deadbolts and doorknobs in both PLS and LSDA. Again, if LSDA would get together with the 10B finish, we would have that extra option. I can't recall, we've been selling this for a really long time, the LSDA, and I can't recall ever having a single cylinder or double cylinder in dark bronze. And one other thing, I'll bring in a Schlage deadbolt. I would like to point out that this is just a residential deadbolt that is available everywhere nowadays. I would like to point out that it does have through shielding, like the LSDA grade 2, whereas the PLS does not. The Schlage deadbolt here has a removable cylinder. This grade, I think they do have quote this as a grade 2 deadbolt, even though it's their main residential line, the B60 series. In my opinion, this Schlage deadbolt is on the same level as this LSDA deadbolt because of that extra through shielding. The Schlage does have this patented quote snap-in cylinder, which some very rarely can be problematic, but usually works just well. It pushes it in, it holds it in while the person installs it. So if I was going to go with a dark bronze color, since we kind of originally started with that, I would definitely stay with Schlage brand locks and get either the 716 and then the 716 in the doorknob. Because unfortunately, again, LSDA is not offered, and I do not like the grade 2 deadbolt in PLS. So PLS, if you happen to be listening, you need to correct that problem. Give us an option maybe, and also correct, that's just being dented like that so easily in transit or in your warehouse, just tells me that that is extremely thin metal right there. Compared to this Schlage, again, this is, you can just tell the difference in the metal. It's a thicker metal here. So, not impressed with the PLS deadbolts, sorry. But I will bring up one point here, which really kind of set me off of this whole issue. You'll notice that PLS, Professional Lock Suppliers, also provides wrap plates, which are plates that go on doors. If we look up a little bit here, we will see that it is plates that wrap around doors to protect against door kick-ins, to keep the door from splitting. And these are available in polished brass and brushed chrome, and one company offers it to the lock world anyway, to the Locksmith supply industry, in a 10B finish, which is the dark bronze. So if we go back down to that, we order a Professional Lock Suppliers brand 10B wrap plate to secure a door, and then we order their 10B deadbolt, which again I wouldn't do because of how it's mounted. We will see yet another pet peeve of mine. It would be understandable if it was two different manufacturers, but for it to be the same manufacturer and be such a wildly different 10B finish is pretty bad in my opinion. That is just one of the most silly things I think I've ever seen. You can see the difference in color. Now, that may not matter to some people, but if you were trying to upgrade the security of a house or any door for that matter, and wanted to use a wrap plate to do so, you pretty much are stuck with polished brass or brushed chrome, because I would not like that at all. This 10B finish, PLS, again, if you're listening, correct your 10B finish. If you're going to have a 10B finish, then make it same across the board. This is like a light olive, dark olive green, or a puke brown, whereas this 10B is pretty much black. Does not look good at all. So, unfortunately, I will not be making that same mistake and purchasing these items again. And in the meantime, I hope that Locksmith Dealers of America decides to start making a 10B finished lock. And I really wish somebody out there would make a 10B finish strike plate, PLS, Don Joe, or not strike plate, but wrap plate, in 2 3/4 and 2 3/8, at least 4. The taller one, the shorter one hole for each one, 2 3/8, 2 3/4. That's four items, and just get your color correct so that it at least looks decent. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm not getting paid by either of these companies, obviously, because I did kind of chew into them a little bit for the issues with the locks here. But in my opinion, as a longtime locksmith, who has sold LSDA and has ordered a couple, because I was forced to use that brand for 10B finish, the single cylinder, which again are not shielded, and I was not impressed with, so I've very rarely have sold those. Some people may love this brand, and that's up to you, you know. But as far as if I was putting on brushed chrome finish, I would definitely stay with the LSDA brand. And in the meantime, hope that they eventually decide to do a 10B finish, even though it's not popular anymore. I'll bring this in real quick as a look at, because this is a grade 2 deadbolt and door lock. mounted on a display here, LSDA brand. Here again, you'll see it's not retracting all the way. You push in and turn. It's locked. You go out the door, it stays locked. Turn the key to get in. And this one comes with the security strike plate. So anyway, that's it. That's all about PLS versus LSDA in their grade 2 product line. Thanks for watching. As always, subscribe if you don't mind. And y'all take it easy. See you next video.